Julia Carlson, you're from Vashon Island. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, Julia, I don't know if you know this, but Spike and I actually did solve a case. We did because we asked the right questions.
Yeah.
Solving a case is all about asking the right questions.
And we have an audience with a lot of eyes and a lot of ears.
Yes, there were two missing mini donkeys that went missing, hence the missing mini donkeys. And one of our listeners was listening to us and their ears perked up and they said, you know what, my neighbor just picked up a couple of mini donkeys, which is a little out of character. They called it in. We found out this is where the mini donkeys were. Wow. And so we're hoping we can repeat that here. This is a very interesting case. You are the owner of a pig whose name is it Brida?
Brida.
Brida. Okay. Brida.
She's named after Brida from The Last Kingdom.
Oh, okay. Very good. And of course I know who that is, but can you tell the audience who that is?
Sure. She is a ruthless Viking warrior who does not take anything from anyone, but also has a sweet feminine side to her.
Oh my gosh,
look at her. She was a warrior pig for sure.
And as you're describing that Viking warrior, we're seeing a picture of
a beautiful
pig in a hat.
Pig in a hat. And not the first picture of Brida in a hat I've seen, too. This is a pig with personality. This is a family member, right?
It's a lot of personality.
Absolutely.
Okay, Julia, tell us, I think what's important for the audience, one, is to understand the situation that led to Brida no longer being with you guys. You believe that she was stolen. Is that right?
She was 100% stolen. The officers and detectives have confirmed that is what happened. We just need evidence on who it was.
Can you walk us through the situation that led up to Brida no longer being on your property? What happened? Where were you guys? How did you discover that she was missing?
Yeah, so last weekend is the biggest weekend on Vashon in the year. It's Strawberry Festival. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we have the roads are shut down. There's trailers. There's people everywhere. It's absolute chaos. So we left our house around 3:00 because the festival starts at 4. So we left around 3. That way we could, find parking, etc. And we got home around 9. But my son got home a little bit before that, and he called me and he was like, "Mom, Brida is not in her enclosure. She got out." And me being an adult thinking, there's no way that this 350-pound pig got out because she doesn't have a reason to get out. He explained where she got out, and it didn't make any sense to me, and it was also in the dark. So it takes about 45 minutes to get back through town, from the festival. We get back, and my husband saw it first, and before I could even get into her enclosure, he was like, "Call 911, someone did this."
What?
And we had flashlights, and we looked, and this was the day after we had that really bad thunderstorm where, like, all the wood was still wet, so you could see when they cut it. And then, like, the fresh wood on the inside, it's a very clear cut. It was very obvious.
Yeah, it wasn't a break. It was a cut.
It was a cut from a saw. It was a job. And then the chicken coops, right where it was cut, like, this is where it was cut, and this is where the coops were. So they were taken and thrown upside down, trashed completely. And then there was a corral that was built, which is a good way to move a pig if you don't know the pig. And then you can see her poor little hoof prints along where that little path was that they corralled her. And then you turn the corner, which is my neighbor's property, and you can see her hoof prints go up to the grass. And then at the grass marks, there's trailer tracks through the grass.
Oh no.
So it's very obvious what had happened.
Was there unfamiliar shoe prints that you noticed in the grass or in the mud?
Any shoe prints, actually. It was only Brida's hoof prints. So that leads me to believe that somebody led her into a trailer and knew who she was and knew the stuff that she liked or knew the music that she liked, because pigs are very smart. And you're not moving a 350-pound animal if they don't want to move.
No.
And so it was either somebody who knew her well enough to be like, "Come on, Brida, come on, I have treats for you," or it was a crew of a bunch of big dudes. But the way that the ground looked, it didn't look like that. I have a good friend who's a master landscaper and a tree arborist, and he came through to look at the disturbance of the grass. And we have a marshland right behind us, and nothing was disturbed at all. And if a 350-pound animal went through there, I mean, you can see when a deer goes through a bush. So
Sure.
there would have been some disturbance, and she absolutely got into a trailer.
Julie, I'm sorry, go ahead.
From that point, we don't know where she went.
So I understand from this is a story we found. King 5 first brought it to everybody's attention. We're trying to amplify this story. So if anyone hears or knows anything, they can share it with us and we can help you get Brida home. I understand you have a dispute with one of your neighbors that you think may have something to do with this situation?
Yes, that's correct. So it kind of stems back to like the November of 2025 timeframe. So this has been a long going thing. This didn't just happen, overnight. Once our neighborhood and our landlord found out that we voted differently, it kind of changed things. We started getting harassed. It just got worse and worse and worse. And
voted differently. Is this an HOA dispute?
No, this is like for our president.
Oh, it's a red and blue issue. Okay. Yeah.
It's just stupid, and I'm on Vashon, and so I stand out like a sore thumb no matter what.
You've also got very bright hair. Yes.
I stand out and I'm loud about things and in a respectful way. And so they didn't like that. And that is a lot of the reasons why people do crazy things right now is they're charged for whatever reason.
Sure.
It was a combination of landlord and this neighbor harassing us for 6 months. So in March 27th, somebody knocked on my door and was screaming in my face. I had no idea who this person was. This is said neighbor.
This is about your pig?
Yeah. He was screaming at me saying, I'm going to use my pew-pew. I'm going to unalive her. I don't know if I can use certain words, so I'm trying to be very careful.
Was there a threat to kill your pig?
Yes, there was. And then there was a threat to remove her, do whatever was necessary, hire a crew. So he was basically saying all these things to me at the threshold of the door. And my husband heard, my kids heard, my husband came around the corner, and this man chest bumped my husband and then headbutt him in the head.
What?
And then my husband gave him a right hook to get out of the front door. Like, I'm standing right there. The kids are here. There's an aggressive man in the dark. We don't know who you are. You're screaming you're going to kill our animal. What the hell, And so obviously the police were called. But during that whole altercation, my landlord was standing behind my neighbor filming with like a really silly grin. So that
why I got to stop you there for a second. Why is your landlord and your neighbor showing up at your doorstep having some sort of a dispute with you? I mean, and your neighbor was upset about the pig. So why is the landlord filming? I don't understand the landlord's connection.
Exactly. I don't either. And so what I think honestly what happened is that the issue started with the landlord and she used the neighbor as a weapon. And in addition to all of the things that she was doing to harass us.
So you're receiving harassment from both your landlord and from your neighbor for your political affiliations?
Yes, that's correct.
Let me ask you this real quick. Does your landlord have any grounds to be upset with you having a 350-pound pig on the property? Is that all above board and legal and codes are all met and fine, right?
Yep, that's all good and nice. We both came from Texas. She actually used to have a pig farm in Texas, and she was like, the pig is the least of my concerns with having, any kind of tenant. I know how pigs are. They're super clean. They're great. I've been here at this address for almost 2 years, and so...
And no other issues besides that?
No. We used to have, get-togethers. We used to have concerts at our house, these people were part of the neighborhood, and then all of a sudden one day we became a target, and now.
Do you really believe it is because of neighbors discovering your political leanings? They decided that you were no longer neighbor material?
If you look in the Vashon Facebook groups, you will see how amazing people can be when you think differently.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. My favorite quote that I've used since I moved here was, this island likes to breathe inclusivity, but they live exclusively. And that is very Vashon, and people because there's been no oversight here. There's nobody holding anybody accountable on any level. It's unincorporated. And so within the last handful of years, now the county is stepping in, coding is coming in. So now all these landlords are reacting to things that they have never had to react to before, because now they're being held accountable. For example, the reason why this all started was because my landlord cut my power for 50 days. And so there was this whole thing is so crazy, and
there's like 5 different stories here. I'm struggling to keep up, Julie. It's like there's a lot of crazy stuff.
So this
let's I want to, because I do, and all the political stuff aside, and believe me, I have a great sympathy for what you're going through. But let's focus on the pig for just a second, because I do in our time remaining, we want to help you get Brida back.
For sure.
Where do you think, have you already expressed to law enforcement where you think that she might be?
I've given them a couple of addresses that are off island, but now that I've had some time to talk to people on island and, get a little bit more tips, I think she's still here. I think my landlord and my neighbor and their friends, or a group of them, are hiding her somewhere, because everybody on the island has 10 acres.
Wow.
There's plenty of spaces to hide her if you wanted to hide her and not be seen.
Yeah. You had mentioned this happened during Strawberry Festival, which is the busiest time of the year, which means more ferry traffic coming and going. Do you think maybe that it was coordinated to happen during Strawberry Festival when so much traffic was leaving the island?
Absolutely. I think that was absolutely pre-planned. There's never a day where there's more trailers and trucks and things hauling anything, any kind of equipment of any kind, other than Strawberry Festival, all day long.
Is WashDOT, because obviously if you want to get to Vashon Island, at some point you're going to have to get on a boat. Have you made them aware of the situation? Is WashDOT helping you keep an eye? And by the way, I looked this up because I had suspicions that she was no longer just a pig. She's a hog, right? A pig is a hog at 270 pounds. So she's a big pig.
She's a big girl.
My point is, she's noticeable. Somebody moving a 350-pound animal, especially one that wears such lovely hats, that's going to be something that people are going to notice.
It's not in the back of a Honda Fit.
Yeah, 100%. No, it requires special equipment to move something that size, and that's going to be noticeable. And so WashDOT probably would have a front row view. If somebody's pulling a trailer onto the ferry boat, they're going to notice it.
But again, it was Strawberry Festival. Trailers coming and going, but more than any of the days of the year.
That's true. But that's true. But also, like Julia is saying, if she believes that that Brida's still on the island, have you gone around and confronted anybody about this and gotten any reaction?
The island, for the most part, is shocked. They're like, we don't stand for this. This is not the island. This is not what we do. We are the ones that fight for people that, for injustice. This is not at all. But just like a lot of other communities that are heavily, and, forgive me, but are heavily boomer communities, a lot of them will protect certain individuals. It's just like, when you have a rich family and there's an abuser, you protect that person. So there are certain individuals I feel that are protecting these people. However, today I went in town and I put that poster, which I don't know if you can see it. It's right behind me.
We can. Yeah, if you want to send that to us too, we can try to get that information up so that our Facebook audience and our different social media audiences.
It's a notification to the community that Brida's missing.
Yeah, and literally every business on the island has it in their front window. So my hope is that when this man or this lady or whoever they're working with, when they go get their coffee, they're going to see it. When they go to their grocery store, they're going to see it. If they have to go pick up something at the hardware, they're going to see it. This is blasted everywhere now because I want to find her. I just want to find her and make sure she's okay.
When were these threats, just for timeline purposes, when were the threats made to kill Brida by the upset neighbor?
On March 27th.
And on March 27th of this year?
Yes.
Was there any other interactions that you had with the neighbor that led to them being upset aside from the political, possible influence?
From March to June, we were in the courtroom and I received protection orders against my landlord and against my neighbor that they are not allowed to be anywhere near me, the pig, or the property.
Wow.
And that was 30 days ago. So it just so happens that everything that these people said they were going to do to my pig on record in the courtroom just happened last weekend.
Holy smokes. Have you gotten any tips? Has anybody else called you and said hey, I think I saw this pig?
I got a couple, Fox and King, and then a couple other local people have really been pushing it out on Facebook, a lot. And so I got a couple people, one girl in Auburn, another gal in Puyallup, and then somebody out in Tumwater. They all sent me videos. Hey, my neighbor just got this pig and they've never had this pig before. This kind of looks like her. I don't know. They weren't her, but I appreciate any tip because any tip is a good tip.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jacob mentioned that we helped find a couple of mini donkeys because neighbors have eyes and neighbors see things that stand out from the norm. And that's what we're hoping we can amplify your situation to more people and more eyeballs and more ears.
Yeah. And you know what? I got to say, too, I'm sorry that you're dealing with people get so crazy about their politics these days. They just need to back up and realize what's important. And being a better neighbor is a much more important thing than who you vote for. So I hope that some of that cools down for you.
I'm a millennial, so I grew up where, we were a melting pot. None of that stuff was really at the forefront of everything. So what's happening right now is foreign to me too. So it's really strange.
Well,
I hope that we get past it.
We'll post the stuff on social media, and can we follow up with you as if you get any more information, if we can help in any other way? We'd love to help get Brida back, and we'll get a picture of her up on our socials as well.
Thank you. Yeah, please do text me, call me, email me, send me a stork, whatever works.
Okay.
She's a sweet looking pig, honestly. She looks like she's very well loved, obviously, by her size. And she seems like, based on the pictures of her in various hats and in your house, she seems like, or I don't know where she's pictured in those pictures, but it seems like she's got a really sweet temperament. And, I hope she's found soon.
Me too. Thank you guys for talking with me. I really do appreciate it.
Our pleasure.